I greet you viewers. Merry Christmas to you all. I had started on a topic about enemies and I'm going right ahead. Today I'm saying your enemy today may be your helper tomorrow. It is natural to have enemies. Enemies are not created. They are not born. They are circumstantially made. You either make the circumstances to create enmity or the other party makes them. Either way, you become enemies. Someone said, the end justifies the means. Whichever way the enemy is made, don't make your enemy permanent. It is for your own good. It does not matter how much they hurt you or how much you hurt them. Let your enmity be very temporary. Don't wait for your enemy to start the reconciliation. Start it because it helps you. Your enemy today may be your helper tomorrow. You will, for heaven's sake, need that person. Don't make him a permanent enemy. Dare not make them permanent. Your enemy today may be the teacher to your children tomorrow. He may be the doctor to do an operation on your wife, sister, or any relative or friend. He may be the man with the gun during an operation in your area. That enemy may sit in the office you will need to help you inevitably tomorrow. I have an example to give. An innocent girl graduated some years back. She hit the road looking for jobs. And one day she saw an advert in one office. They called her for an interview together with several of her colleagues. She went and did the interview. She came out best and was given an appointment letter. On the day of reporting, she came early and she was taken to the overall boss to introduce to him the new officer. He shook her hand warmly and welcomed her. When he asked her for her name, she gave him the Christian name and followed it with her father's name. The boss opened his eyes wide, actually very wide, and asked, "What was that name again?" She innocently repeated it. He told her without mincing with words, "Let your father give you the job, not in my company." She almost collapsed. She had lost the job on account of her father being an enemy to her would-be employer. Just look at that. When she went home and told her father, he told her, "If you had asked me before you went, I wouldn't have allowed you to go there." Meaning, each of them had made a permanent enemy of the other. The employer lost a very good, competent person on account of making a permanent enemy of the girl's father. Don't make the same mistake. Don't. Please don't. It does not only affect you, but it affects your relatives. It affects your in-laws. It affects your friends. Your enemy today may be your helper tomorrow. If it was not for professional ethics, can you imagine how many people would have lost their lives in hospitals or on operational tables? Do you know? Thank God for professional ethics. There are some people you should never think of making enemies. Doctors and nurses are some of them. Have you ever imagined that as you are driving your car, it can fail you in the vicinity of your enemy's home? at an awkward hour of day or night? Would you not need his help? Would it be the right time to reconcile with him when you need him? Think about it. Sober up and reconcile with your enemies before you need him or before he needs you. Many times, when we refuse to forgive and reconcile with our enemies, we miss out on many opportunities. We don't even try sometimes because we feel we know the outcome, that it will be negative, even if it would even be positive. For that matter, why don't you, or why don't I, start reconciling before we reach a funny situation, an unfortunate moment? Begin on the journey of forgiving and reconciling before you need that person, or before you need his relatives, or before you need his friends, because you will need them. You will always need your enemy at the end of the tunnel. So wisdom would dictate that you reconcile with him before you reach that moment. Man is not an island, but a social being. Your enemy is part of the society in which you are a being. Be angry and sin not. Let not the sun set upon your anger. My advice is, don't make enemies as you climb your social ladder, because you will need to use them as a stepping stone on your way down. Your enemy today may be your helper tomorrow.